Hello, it's Wednesday, the 21st of November, and I'm going to make a prediction for tonight's Lotto draw. But before I do, I'm just going to do a quick analysis of the winning numbers from the last draw, which took place on Saturday the 17th of November. Now, that was draw 2390. The machine that was used was Lancelot, and the set of balls was number 3. These are the winning numbers that came out. There were 2 jackpot winners, and so tonight £2 million, that would be nice. But anyway, this is my analysis of the winning numbers. So these are all the numbers that were outstanding. So looking at all machines and sets of balls, it were these numbers. Current trend, these numbers. And then looking at Lancelot, these numbers. Looking at set ball 3, these numbers. So these are all the numbers that stood out as either most frequent, most overdue, or most overdue for the frequency. And then we can look at the charts for numbers paired with the winning numbers. So these are the ones that stood out paired with number 4, stood out paired with number 5, and so on and so on. And then we can filter out all the outstanding numbers that didn't coincide with actual winning numbers. So I'm just going to switch on the coincidence filter and look at all the coincidences that occurred in the last draw. So these are all the coincidences, and there aren't any. So there's nothing to show you in this video, so it's pointless. The only thing that I could find, however, is if instead of just looking at the recent history since the numbers went up to 59, that was in draw 2066, if instead of that you look at the full draw history since it began, including the results when it was a 49 number lottery, then if we look at numbers paired with 9 and 12 together, we get this chart, and on this chart you can see that one of the main numbers that was a winning number, number 5, stood out with 9 and 12 together as most overdue for its frequency. And the same number stood out with 42 and 12 in exactly the same way, most overdue for its frequency. And apart from that, I haven't found any other ways in which the numbers stood out. So in conclusion, I have to say that it's not the most outstanding numbers that are most likely to be drawn all the time. So what I'm saying is, when we analyse the chart and produce an analysis to see which numbers stand out, then if those numbers happen to come out in the next draw, it's only a coincidence. There's nothing forcing them to come out. I noticed that 12, 17 and 42, the same 3 numbers, came out 2 draws ago in draw 2388, which is quite unusual because if you look at the odds, a 3 number up pick, the chances of winning on that 1,625. So that means that on average the same 3 numbers should repeat once every 1,625 draws. So for the same 3 numbers to repeat after just 2 draws, then the odds of that happening are something like 800 to 1. well, to be exact, it's this number divided by 2. So it was quite an unlikely outcome. So it's quite unlikely for that to happen, but it did. Because even the most unlikely outcomes occur. So those same 3 numbers now have dropped down to the bottom, down to there. So quite an interesting result. What it means, I'm not sure, but for my prediction, it's just going to be the same as what I predicted last time, because my numbers didn't come out. So I'll show you the numbers that I picked. The numbers I picked for the Lotto last time were these numbers. I'm going to put the same numbers on again. Now I'll show you the reason why. So if we look on the analyzer, '29 stands out as the most overdue for its frequency, regardless of whether or not we're looking at the current trend or all machines, all sets of balls or whatever. So we definitely want to pick number 29. And if you're following a 1 number hot pick strategy, this is the 1 number hot pick strategy, and 29 has been the most overdue for its frequency. How many times in a row? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So 9 times now. Hang on, that's more than 9, isn't it? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12. 12 times in a row. Now these numbers are interesting to look at as well. Now look at this chart. The most frequent number, 54, right? 54 has come out 46 times. I don't know if you can see that. 46 times, that's how many times the most frequent number has been drawn. Now, looking at this, it tells us how many times the most overdue number has been drawn, 26 times. But it's not always most clearly defined. It's not always possible to define which is the most overdue. So that frequency is not entirely accurate, because for it to be a fair comparison, if we were comparing this number to this number to this number, we'd have to omit all the draws where the most overdue number wasn't clearly defined, such as in the last draw. So in this draw there's no number in this cell, that means it wasn't clearly defined, so we'd have to omit that from the count. So what I'm saying is, if we go far enough back, then it's not defined. But anyway, what I find most interesting, however, is this number here. Now this is how many times the number that is most overdue for its frequency has been drawn. And looking at this, then you can see that it's been drawn 59 times. So what does that tell you? I forgot what these numbers mean. Oh yeah, that's how overdue it is. Right, how overdue, how frequent, what draw it last occurred in. So basically, the number that is most overdue for its frequency, or shall we say M, has been drawn 59 times, but the most frequent number has only been drawn 46 times. So that means that this number, which at the moment is 29, or whichever number is at this position on the chart, has been drawn more times than the most frequent number. So that gives us a little bit of an edge. And to make use of that, I've developed this strategy. Now, we know that number 29 has been most overdue for its frequency now. Since the numbers went up to 59, most overdue for its frequency 12 times in a row. So 12 times for the last 12 draws, 29 has been most overdue for its frequency. The number that is most overdue for its frequency comes out 59 times compared to the most frequent number only 46 times. So what I'm saying is, for a one number hot pick strategy, you need to pick this number, which at the moment is 29. And if you're following this strategy, then we're now down to 12 draws, which means you have to put 5 lines on it to cover losses of £26 and still make a small profit of £4. So in tonight's draw, I'm going to put 5 one number hot picks on main number 29, and if it comes out, I'll win £30, which would be nice. Now back to the analyzer. You can see 29 is also most overdue as well when we're looking at the current trend sets of balls. If we look at all machines and sets 1 to 4, it's also most overdue. So I'll just show you what that looks like on a chart. So if we just turn off the draws where sets 5, 6, 7 and 8 have been used, then you can see there's 29 most overdue on that chart. So it stands out in 2 different ways on that chart. So I'll be picking number 29. I'll just make a note of that. That's why I've got 29 on my ticket. And then looking at the analyzer, numbers that stand out with 29 are 18 in 3 different ways, especially when you look at the current trend. And then we've got 37, 47, 19. So I'm definitely going to be picking 18 as well to go with 29. And then 35, which is most overdue. And I can't remember why I'm picking these other numbers, but I'll show you why I'm picking 15. The reason why I'm picking 15 is because if we look at 29 and 18 and numbers paired with those 2 numbers, you notice how 57's one of the 2 most frequent on that. Well, that's why I'm picking 57. And also, if we look at full draw history for the machines and sets of balls that have been in use since the numbers went up to 59, then see there's 15 most overdue for its frequency with these 2 numbers. So I'm picking these 2 and then I'm picking 15 to go with them. So 29 for one number hot pick strategy, 29 and 18 for a 2 number hot pick strategy, and then all 3 for a 3 number hot pick. So if you want to pick more numbers than that, pick them from this chart. Now it's strange how there's so many coincidences. But anyway, looking at full draw history, out of the 10 most recently added numbers, even though 54 is most frequent, 57 is right up there and all the others are down there. So 57 is much more overdue. Now, on average, you should get, in any combination, on average, most of the time you'll get one of these numbers. Because for every 10 numbers, on average, one will be drawn. So out of these 10, the one that I would pick is 57. So that's why I'm picking that one. But anyway, look at how 35 is coming up as most overdue for its frequency on that. So to look at the other numbers, I'll just flip the chart horizontally. See, there's 29, and then 35, same frequency but more overdue. So that's why I'm picking 35. So it stands out in 3 different ways. So I'm picking 35, picking 15, and you notice how 17 stands out with 35 and 15. Well, that's why I'm picking 17. 17 is the only number that I got on this ticket in the last draw. So whether or not it's going to come out again in this draw, I'm not entirely sure. So maybe I might just have a look at the gap chart for 17 and see what that looks like. So 17 on the gap chart. Oh yeah, so that number 1 is where we're at. So this chart should eventually end up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the numbers should eventually even out into numerical order, ascending numerical order from left to right. So if number 1 comes out, it'll move from there down to there, and all the other numbers will move across one step to the right. So I might pick 17, I might change that, I'm not sure. So I've got these numbers. Oh yeah, and there's 57. So I might change 17 to a different number, like maybe 54 or 5, or whichever's most frequent on that. Let's have a look at that one. Right. So the analyzer doesn't show which is most frequent on this one, so I'll have a look at this chart for the current trend sets of balls. So that would be sets 1 to 4. So I only have to switch off sets 5, 6, 7 and 8. Oops, I've done that wrong. Oh, it's looking at numbers paired with 17, so I can turn that off. Flip it back horizontally. So the reason why the analyzer doesn't show which is most frequent on that is because 3 numbers are competing for the same spot. So I might pick one of either one of these 2. I'll see which one's best with 29. So the best one out of those 2 to have a 29 would be I don't know. But anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. That's enough for this video. It's gone on long enough. So, good luck in tonight's draw. And this is what the chart looks like at the moment. So you can pick your numbers from that. Let me know if you win anything. And bye for now.